Culture swap?
Swap my culture.
What did we do this time, Liam?
We did Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan.
Yep.
Do I need to... Is there anyone else involved in the creation of it that's worth giving a little nod of the head to? A little hat tip?
Do you know who the artist was?
Fiona Staples? Yeah, she was the artist. Obviously, you've got the
she also helped create it.
Did she?
Yeah, on Wikipedia it says created by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples.
Oh, okay.
And then it was written by him and she drew the art. So
right, because in Volume 1, when I open it and it says Saga and stuff, it just says Brian K. Vaughan writer, Fiona Staples artist, phonographics for the lettering and design, and then
I don't think you need to worry about that. I think it's mainly author and artist.
Eric Stevenson was the coordinator.
Okay, very good.
He coordinated stuff,
and he did a good job.
Yeah.
So, note to our listeners: if you haven't read Volume 1 of Saga, we are going to spoil it. So
yeah, sorry about that. Okay, right, Jack. Before we go into spoiler territory, just kind of give the listener a kind of very short if you like this sort of thing, this is up your street. So because say our listeners listening and they've never heard of Saga before, and it might be the sort of thing that once we start talking about it and we get into spoilers, they might be like, oh damn, that's actually something I really would have enjoyed reading, but I'm too late now. So
okay, well, all right. Does this work, Liam? I'm going to say something.
Okay.
Do you think this works? Space Romeo and Juliet for adults.
Yeah, I think that works.
I think that gets across most of it.
And I would also say if you find your taste leans more towards Jack's tastes when you listen to us, if you're a regular listener, this is more up your street than if your taste would more regularly align with my tastes.
Yeah, fantasy sci-fi.
Aliens and shit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So, Saga Volume 1. Now, your description just then of Romeo and Juliet in Space for Adults is pretty much the exact description I'd heard before I bought it, and I bought this and Volume 2, because when I was first getting into graphic novels, I was just going through lists of these are the greatest graphic novels for starter, essentially. So this would come up a lot, The Walking Dead would come up a lot, Preacher, which we did a long time ago, that came up.
Yep.
So I got the first 2 volumes of this, quite excited, and then the first time I tried to read this, I got, I think, up to the second chapter and just noped out.
Okay, what made you do that?
Well, here's the thing. I was rereading it last night and got up to that exact same point and just sort of rolled my eyes and just went, I really, really hope it gets better because I'm ready to give up with it again. And
what bit? I'm trying to think what bit that is in the second issue.
So basically, it maybe wasn't even the second chapter, actually. It might have just been the end of the first chapter. Yeah, sorry. It was the end of the first chapter. My mistake.
Okay.
So both times I got to the end of the first chapter, and what it is, I think, that did it both times, is the graphic novel just drops you in the middle of a lot of stuff going on, right?
Yep.
And you kind of figure out within the first chapter that there's been a huge war going on between these two different races.
Mm-hmm.
But in a universe where there's lots of other races, and it kind of introduces you to the two main characters who are part of these two warring tribes, but these two have left the war effort, if you will.
Yep.
You've got the robot stuff that's all going on, and I think the point where I just checked out, where I was like, this is introduced because you've got the robot introduced in the first chapter, and then you've also got a hitman. Is that the right way of describing him?
They're called freelancers, aren't
freelancer, but essentially like a mercenary, right?
Yeah, these ones are like bounty hunters.
Yes, exactly. It introduces that and a woman with a unicorn horn on her head, and it is at that point where I was just like, it's throwing too much at me too soon. I didn't feel like I was eased into this. It was just like, here's this, and then here's this, and then here's that. Oh, and there's this as well, and there's a cat that can always tell the truth. And this is all within the first, 15, 20 pages.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just too much.
Okay. Not for me, it didn't feel like that, but I get what you're saying. There is a lot.
Yeah, and you're a lot more familiar with this sort of genre, so I imagine. And I was thinking about.
Oh yeah, I'm so familiar with the space fantasy.
Yeah,
Romeo and Juliet genre. Yeah,
exactly.
That's everything. Yeah, of course.
And I was thinking why would this appeal to someone, and why does it bother me? And the only thing I could come up with, and I'm hoping you'll be able to help enlighten me here, is I was thinking, I think the appeal for other people would be they like knowing that all this extra stuff is going on, and they like to fill in the blanks, if you know what I mean. So they like to kind of like imagine the backstories to these other like races that you see, and you know they might be like, oh, I really hope we get to find out more about this thing later on, and they like not knowing everything about that stuff. Whereas for me, I like to just focus on the story that's trying to be told, and when you have a lot of extra stuff seems like it's going on like in the background, I'm like, well, I don't care so much about that. I would rather, you know, learn about that when it starts affecting the main story I'm trying to focus on. Do you see what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I don't think that's how I feel.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think about why I like that as a part, and I don't think it, like, because when I see these background races and like people like the Will, who is the freelancer, and like Prince Robot, I don't think I'm sitting there.
Yeah, I think my the point that turns me off is just when the woman appears with the unicorn horn. I was just like, this is just too much. Stop throwing new shit at me.
I mean, the thing with that is, right, when you actually boil this down, specifically this first issue, right, you get 3 storylines. You get the mum and the dad having the baby.
Yeah.
You then get a bit of Prince Robot and his backstory.
Yeah.
You have a tiny little bit that follows the mum and dad again.
Yeah.
And then you get the Will.
Yeah.
So really, it's just 3 stories. It's not.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the background to those.
Yeah. There's a lot of like setup for what is going on in this universe.
Yeah.
But then it's not. I didn't feel like it was too much.
No, and I just want to make it clear. I'm very specifically just talking about chapter 1 at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Also.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. It's a lot, but then it is because they're setting up. What is effectively going to be a saga, as we can guess from the name.
I think that's the thing. For me, I would have preferred if they'd have kept for the first bit, keep it small and focused, and then gradually expand as necessary.
I see. I don't like. I'm the opposite to you. I don't like stories like that.
Yeah, which is fair enough. And you know, again, like even that could be done in a wrong way. So I'm not saying like it has to be done that way. I just think from what I've read of this, that is a way that I wouldn't have in the first chapter found it like difficult to carry on.
But then if you don't have, so say you've got to have the 2 races and them setting up the fact that there's this huge war going on between them, right?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty fucking core to the 2 characters.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that.
Yeah.
I'll admit the Prince Robot stuff maybe not necessary in the first issue.
Yeah.
But then setting up the Will, that's pretty important because, as we know from reading the next few issues, he becomes way more central.
Yeah, definitely. But I just think, again, like, the way they've introduced him, by then throwing in, like, the unicorn thing, and like, there's a monster thing.
But the monster thing is very throwaway. That's not them trying to set up anything. That's there are big monsters.
Yeah.
And the unicorn lady is just from the Moon Tribe.
Yeah.
So, like, again, she's not particularly expanding on it. She's just, like, the opposite of Prince Robot.
It bothered me. And the other thing that I wasn't a big fan of, which even after finishing it I'm still not a big fan of, is, so it's essentially narrated at this point by Hazel, who is a baby. Right? I don't like the way that the text of her narration appears. Like, there have been panels where I've missed that there was text because it just wasn't... like standing out enough, and it was only like I would look back and I'd be like, oh, there was some text there that I missed.
I like it because it looks like a diary, which I think what it's meant to be. It's meant to be like you're reading her diary almost.
Yeah, I get that. I didn't get diary so much. I got more like thoughts than diary, but I guess it's a very similar thing.
It feels like less thoughts, mainly because she's a baby in these.
Yeah. I just don't like just the way that text is presented. That's just personal thing.
Yeah.
What I will say is it is worth if someone is like me and has done the same thing as me where they've got to like chapter 1 and gave up, it is worth persevering.
Yeah.
Because it does. I don't know if I'd say it necessarily stops throwing a lot of shit at you, but you start being able to tell where all the different shit that they're throwing at you starts fitting in.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's what I was trying to get across. I think when I'm saying like it's not too much, and that's because they sort of deal with the shit they've thrown at you quite quickly.
Yeah,
like most of the stuff that you brought up is integrated.
Yeah, like it's clearly like it doesn't feel like they're making it up on the go. Like it's clearly well planned.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that also runs the risk where if you know you've got the plan kind of sussed out and you can see the full plan, sometimes I guess it's difficult to how to word this. But if you can see, like, if you're building some furniture and you can see all of the instructions, and then you've got someone else who can only see like the first 3 pages of the instructions, it's hard for them to see how that final piece of furniture is going to look. Does that make sense?
Yes, I get what you're saying, but also, like, I didn't feel like that is the thing, and I don't want to just be contrarian and be like, I disagree, because I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
like that is the way you saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
But like for me, that isn't how it happened. Like, and it is because I guess we enjoy different shit in these things.
Yeah, exactly.
But like to me, it's not like I'm sitting there and being like, oh man, I don't get how this is all going together. Like I can see the pieces.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm someone. So in that analogy, maybe I'm the person that comes along, has the first 3 pages, and goes, "That's a chair." Or I don't know how that fits in though.
Or you look at the first 2 pages and you go, "There's a contents page here that tells you everything you need to know."
Yeah, maybe.
And I've missed the contents page.
I look at the first 3 pages and then I close it and I look at the front and it says "Guide to Making a Chair" and I go, ah.
Yeah. But yeah, it does get better. Is the key thing, I think.
I don't think it was particularly bad to start with.
No, but for me, for someone
who from your perspective, it gets better.
Who at the end of the first chapter was like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah, the fact that made you stop reading it.
Yeah, it definitely. And the other thing that I think they don't do a great job of in the first chapter is setting up how violent and sexy it gets later.
Oh, that's not true.
Would you
Liam, let me draw your attention to page... Let me just quickly get there. Does it have page numbers? No.
No.
The page where Prince Robot is fucking another robot.
Yeah, not that sexy.
And then you see his penis.
That I was surprised at, but...
And then a little crocodile butler as well, just to confuse everything.
A little what?
Crocodile butler.
Yeah, again, this is what I mean. This is what I mean by, like, the weird throwaway shit that's just in there, and I'm like, why are you in there? Like Crocodile Butler, weird monster thing. Because they're establishing that
the universe is full of all these different species.
Yeah, I know, I didn't like it.
Okay, well that's just ridiculous.
One complaint. So you see this guy's penis, this robot guy's penis, during he's having sex, right?
Yes.
He can't finish. And I couldn't tell what the image was that pops up on his screen.
It's a broken horn.
Okay. So he can't finish and apologises. And then as he walks away, you see his penis. It's already gone down to like teeny tiny. I would have thought it would be at least like a chub on, if not fully erect still.
I'm assuming that's what the issue is that he's struggling to stay hard.
There are no erect penises in this book.
Okay, well, that's a weird thing for you to notice, but sure.
It's rare to get an erect penis anyway. It was one of the complaints I had about 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, well, I feel like you're fixating on the penises, and I don't know why.
I mean, wouldn't it be the first time?
Fair enough. So, you're right, though. It doesn't particularly set up, like gore, especially.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of gore in this first one, but some of the stuff that happens later is pretty brutal.
Yeah, much more. And I think, having maybe some of those elements in the first one...
Oh, although, no, someone's getting their head cut in half in the first issue.
Is there?
And you see it. Yeah.
Where?
The scene where Prince Robot remembers... Oh, no, the scene where they go to capture... So, listeners, this is confusing to you. They try, like, the 2 tribes that Alana and Marco come from...
Yeah.
Are like hell-bent on capturing them because they both
do you want to give a synopsis of what this is actually about?
Yeah. So Alana and Marco are both members from these 2 warring species. One of the species lives on a moon, one of them lives on the planet. So they've come to the realization that if either one destroyed the other, it would fuck up their thing. So the moon can't blow up the planet because it's a moon, it would just drift into space and die. The planet can't destroy the moon because it would cause all the tidal issues and stuff. So they've outsourced their war, is how it's described. So they have these huge wars on all these other planets. They've like forced all these races to pick a side effectively, which is why there's all these different people. Alana and Marco get fed up and leave. I think Marco got captured. Alana was his jail keeper.
Yeah.
They fell in love. They then leave the armies and then get married. And the book starts with Alana giving birth to their half-breed baby, which is half of both races. So both races are then trying to capture them because they think it's going to demoralise their army. I assume that's meant to be, people will realise that they don't need to be in this stupid war because clearly you don't have to kill each other when with like this.
Yeah, okay.
But then you get all these other characters that are then sort of sent to hunt them down.
Yeah.
And it's in that scene where it gets brutal.
Yeah.
Prince Robot's like slicing dudes' heads in half. Or someone's slicing dudes' heads in half.
Yeah. I think it's... So they get ratted out by someone. and then you've got like I think 2 different groups appear at the same sort of time, and there's a bit of a crossfire.
Yeah.
So I think once you get over what like all of the shit that's going on, you kind of get it put in your head where everything fits in. It does get a lot better. I have to admit, like I'm still more interested in the stuff with the will than I am with the actual like main characters.
Oh, see, I really like the main characters.
It's not that I don't like them. I didn't like the whole him getting really badly injured and then her having to like save him. All that sort of stuff felt. I don't want to say it felt rushed necessarily, but it felt more like it didn't feel like it happened at the right place in the book. It felt I would have preferred that we'd have had more time getting to establish these 2 relationship and then put one of them in like peril than as quick as it happens.
Yeah, but then you've got to bear in mind that this came out in issues.
You know, I get that.
In the 6th issue. So that's like 6 weeks of people experiencing this.
I thought that happened before the 6th.
No, it's in the 6th, isn't it? Because it's right before... Oh, it happens like at the end of the 5th, right?
No, I think it happens at... I can tell you in a second. It happens at the end of chapter 2.
Really?
Yep. The end of chapter 2
he gets...
when the stalker appears and stabs him. Oh, yeah,
no, fair enough.
So that's what I mean. It feels like they put him in peril too soon. I haven't got to...
But then does that not... Okay, this sounds weird now that I'm like, oh, okay, it did happen then, but whatever. Seriously, like, does that not help them build their character relationship?
No, it does, but it would have, I think, worked for me better if I'd have liked the 2 characters to start with, because they are likeable. If I'd have had more time with them, liking them, and then one of them gets put in peril...
Yeah, but I'm assuming, Lynn, that's not the end of the peril. Like,
no,
I highly doubt everything's going to suddenly settle down.
I'm just saying it was one of the niggles that I was like, I wish they hadn't have necessarily done that.
Right. I think that's such a weird thing to niggle about.
Well, you know...
Because I don't understand it, I think. I don't understand what your problem with it is.
I think the book wanted me to feel something that it hadn't earned.
But I don't think it was. I think it was trying to show you their relationship, which is what you wanted. But then also you didn't want them to do that way. You wanted them to show their relationship a different way.
It shows you how she feels about him. It doesn't do a great job of showing you how he feels about her.
Yeah, that's part of the relationship.
I had issues with it, Jack.
Okay, well, I think it's such a weird issue to have, is my issue.
It would have worked better if I'd have got to know both of them.
Yeah, but you like saying that. You say that about everything we read or do. You're always like, it would have worked better if they do this.
Yeah, and that's always...
Like that, but it's always... it would work better for you.
Yeah, okay,
not for everyone else. We're all fine with it.
Whenever I say that sort of thing, it is with the implied caveat that this is for... It would have worked better, asterisk, for me.
Well, I wish you would always say that.
I will try my best to remember, but I probably will forget. Like I said, like by the end, I was on board. I think it comes back to it's throwing you in the deep end still. And it definitely does like calm itself a little bit by I think maybe chapter 4.
Yeah, but is that when they start focusing on like stuff happening to the will instead of them?
A little bit, yeah.
I sort of feel like the way it seems to be at the moment from that first volume. Yeah. Is almost like when one story's being calmer, one of the other ones is either starting to get intense or is having a thing happen.
Yeah, and I much prefer the Will's story stuff. And like, alright, so if you could give like a quick synopsis for what his like story arc is in this first book.
So he gets hired by the Moon Tribe.
Yeah.
To hunt these 2 people down.
Yeah.
He then finds out that a lot of other bounty hunters have been given the same job. And
I did like that scene where they essentially give him like a blank credit card and they're like,
yes.
You can put all your expenses on this. It's like, well, why would I do this in any hurry then? You're not the only one we've hired to do this.
Yeah.
I did.
And then, so he's got this unlimited credit card. Then he finds out that another bounty hunter that he knows has been put on the case.
An ex of his.
Yep, someone that he's had a romantic relationship with called the Stork,
who
he never wants to see again.
Yeah.
He thinks she's better than him
at
it, so he just says, fuck it, I'm going to go spend all this money on a prostitute planet.
And that's when it really kicked up for me.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, Liam.
No, because I just like that I was like, oh, it's gone down this route. Because I think while there's like some violence at that point, you don't get this like, oh, they're going there with this like universe. Like there are these pockets in this universe.
Are you talking specifically about what happens at the prostitute planet, or just in general the prostitute?
Just like
planet?
In general, and also what happens there. Like the fact that it's willing to have this prostitute planet. I was like, okay, so that's kind of like it feels kind of unexpected from what we've read so far in it. Then you arrive at this prostitute planet and it just gets real fucking weird real quick.
Yeah.
And then especially what happens there, I'm like, oh, so it's also going. It is going dark as well. With this.
Yeah, because it is very dark what happens.
Yeah, and also quite dark how it's resolved, or maybe not necessarily resolved.
Yeah, no. Do you want to explain what we're talking about?
So on the prostitute planet, the Will is looking for some sort of sexy release. Nothing's really working for him. Someone clocks this, notices, and it's like, I've got what you're looking for. A slave girl, I think is how it's described.
Yeah.
Turns out the slave girl is a 6-year-old child.
Yeah.
On a prostitute planet. Now, the Will, naturally, doesn't like this idea. Reacts very violently. Slaps someone's head in, well...
I think he crushes it. I don't think he slaps it. He just squeezes it till it explodes.
It's like a clap.
No, but see, I don't think it is. I think he literally is. I think the way the panels are laid out, that he's meant to be grabbing the sides of that guy's head.
Oh, and then just squeeze it.
Because that guy's then like, oh, I don't really want to be involved in whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
I think he just squeezes it till it explodes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really, like, there were issues with getting her off of this planet. And it's kind of resolved with, from what I can guess, she's left there.
Yeah, you find out that they've all got a drug in their system where if they leave the planet,
it hardens.
Will just solidify and kill them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brutal.
Yeah, and it was at this point I was like, this is out there. Like, I like that it's... I like that it's taking risks, I think, is the way I felt by that point.
Yeah,
you could play this sort of story quite safe and not go down those dark roads.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that it was like, look, this is a universe where it's not like there are these elements to it that you will see.
I think this bit as well is like my favourite narration bit.
Yeah.
Because it's got like the best quote from Future Hazel, which is, "The Will wasn't the first bounty hunter to come after my parents, and he wasn't the last. Like every freelancer I had the misfortune to eventually meet, he was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
But as my family was about to learn, some monsters are worse than others." And I was like, oh, I like the way that's setting.
Yeah.
What sort of, like, you've just seen this guy crush someone's head, and she's like, yeah, he's a bad guy, but maybe he's not the worst bad guy.
Yeah, definitely. Like by the end, I am now very curious to read the second volume.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I get why, like when I've gone into my local comic book shop and stuff, when I said it didn't quite work for me, I get why they were surprised.
Yeah, probably. Did you also explain to them that you'd stopped reading at issue 1?
Yeah.
Okay, did they then go, just read more?
Yeah.
I hate you.
Why?
Because you should have listened to them.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it is... I don't really know what else to like say about it, to be honest.
I just think it's an interesting idea in like, even just to take the core concept of what it is, which is a sci-fi space opera.
Yeah.
But also a very fantastical, like they've merged fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is like, I find that interesting because it's two genres that I really like, and they've tried to sort of incorporate it together.
Yeah. Do you think there's any like deeper meaning to this that I'm missing?
I think the book definitely will have a message. I think it's probably quite early for us to be getting it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what it is at this point.
Like, I'm sure, if I was going to stab in the dark,
yeah,
it's another sort of family thing and love in, like, finding love between two people that hate. It's sort of the Romeo and Juliet message there as well.
Love conquers all sort of thing.
Yeah.
Make love, not war.
Yeah, exactly, Liam.
Yeah.
Unless it's on a prostitute planet.
And then make war.
Yes.
Because
I mean, that's also I guess that's an interesting bit as well. That's just reminded me of.
Yeah.
Is the fact that Marco, the main dad character, has taken a vow of non-violence, and you sort of get a look, because at the beginning he's just like, I'm not gonna use my sword anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've got my family now.
Yeah.
But I really like the scene where he does have to use his sword to fight off. They're about to get captured, and he kills he attacks a lot of people. And you see him go into like a blood rage.
Yeah.
Where he's just like wants to kill everyone, and the only way his wife can stop him is by shooting him with a stun gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's this other interesting layer to Marco that is, and it's also hinted at that he's done some really bad stuff.
The only thing about that is, for me, you're gonna disagree.
Probably.
If you do. I found it more interesting when he was approaching situations being like, I can't resort to violence, and the fact that so quickly, like within the first like 4 or 5 chapters, he already is like, fuck this vow, I'm getting my sword out.
No, you're reading that wrong. It's not that he's being like, fuck this, that's it, I'm just going to have to get violent. It's that there's that one, that he was forced into a situation where he had to, but he still wants to not be violent. So I think that makes it more interesting that we've seen him be forced into the situation. Because the fact that he then breaks his sword deliberately.
I was disappointed in him.
Right, well, that's because you're a heartless bastard. His wife and daughter were about to be killed.
Yeah, but there's got to be another way around it.
No, that's ridiculous. Because what they're doing there with the pacifist thing is interesting, and I like the idea of pacifism, and I'm a pacifist. But there are also, like, if your wife and child are about to be killed, then yes, sometimes it might be the answer. So I think that's interesting.
But, like, I'm not being funny.
What other way would he have?
Yeah, but the first time, okay, when you find out he's taken this vow and that, it's like, I'm not going to resort to violence. His wife and child might have still been killed at that point, and he's still.
Yeah, but that's because there were so many enemies.
But he still didn't get the sword out, and then
because
later
there were
on, he's
many.
like, "Well, I'm going to get the sword out now," and it was like, look, if you're going to make a decision, commit to it.
I mean, personally, Liam, I don't really want to nitpick Saga. I don't want to bully it.
Yeah, but I mean, okay.
If you could see the smug face I'm pulling right now, Liam, I think it would annoy you a little bit more.
Imagine, this is it. I don't like his lack of conviction, because imagine if I'd have gone, I'm going to complete The Witcher and get all the trophies, and then like 4 hours later, gone, nah, I can't be bothered. Not going to do that.
Okay, well now let's do a different situation where you say I'm going to get all the trophies in The Witcher.
Yeah.
And then someone kidnaps your mum and puts a gun to her head and says, Liam, if you don't stop playing The Witcher, I'm going to kill your mum. What would you do? Assumedly, you'd stop.
Oh, can we not figure out another way around this? Like,
And he'd say no.
This seems like an extreme reaction to me just wanting to get some trophies.
I mean, it's not a two-way conversation, Liam. He sent you a letter.
Well, I've written a letter back.
To where? He hasn't given you an address.
Oh, how's he going to know if I've stopped playing The Witcher?
He's got away. He assures you, and to prove it, he says play a bit more of The Witcher, and then sends you a bit of your mum's thumb.
Right. Well, I would want a way of contacting him.
Well, he doesn't give you one.
Well, I feel like there would be a way to get in touch.
No,
I'd write to my mum. I'd write to my mum.
Your mum's not at her house. She's been kidnapped.
Surely they'd have set up like some postal redirection thing, or they'd be checking.
No.
Like, they'd
Ian's
be checking.
Still there.
They'd be checking me somehow, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they're definitely checking you somehow.
So I'd put a message on the TV screen.
You get another letter, and that letter says, "Stop trying to talk to us."
I'm like, well, how are we going to come to some sort of agreement if you're not open to communication?
Sends you one last letter and says, "We're not going to come to some kind of agreement. Stop playing The Witcher."
You can't really reason with people like that.
I honestly didn't think it would take you this long to stop playing The Witcher. We have your mum. Dear God, what are you?
And I'd be like, look, if you can't be reasoned with, I don't negotiate with terrorists.
Fucking hell. Yes, maybe this book isn't for you, Liam, because I think it might be for people who have normal human emotions.
If you give in to one, next time I'll start playing like Horizon Zero Dawn, and they'll be like, oh no, I don't want to get all the trophies in there. They'll kidnap Cat. Like, I'll be like, why? All I want to know is why they don't want me to get all the trophies. It seems such a weird thing to not want me to do.
I mean, you're not in a situation to ask it, though, Liam.
I feel like I have a right to know.
Oh, you do, but they're kidnappers. It's, they can just do what they want.
Yeah, but they're humans, Jack. Surely they'll have, like, emotions and stuff. They'll be able to be reasoned with.
Well, you don't, so let's not put it on other people.
Oh, I can be bribed.
Yeah, they can't.
Why not?
Well, they can. You could bribe them by not playing The Witcher 3.
Surely there'll be other bribes, though. Like, what if I played it...
No, they're very rich.
No. What if I played it but only naked?
No, they don't want to see that.
Alright, well, they better send my mum back, or I'm never putting clothes on again.
Oh, well, they say, well, that's fine. I mean, we don't want to see it, but we also don't care.
Well, then they can watch me slap my dick around.
That's fine.
Perfect. And I'll complete The Witcher 3.
Okay, then they kill your mum.
I just feel like that's such an extreme reaction to me getting trophies.
Well, I'm not them.
Well, you are.
I'm not, Liam. Let's be very clear here.
Well, no, but you've created them in
your
mum. Mind.
I can't be in charge of whatever my mind creates, Liam. Don't put that onus on me.
I can relate to that, actually. I had a conversation with Kat in the car earlier.
Yeah.
Where I was saying, like, does she ever, when she's driving by herself or whatever, just, like, come up with ways to make her laugh? And
make herself laugh?
Yeah. Because, like, if I'm driving by myself, or if I'm bored or whatever, I'll just create, like, personas, and then and I'll just have conversations between the two of them just to see how they both, like, respond and react to each other.
Okay.
And I was just asking if like she did something similar.
I mean, no, that's weird.
No, but you're not understanding. Like, what do you think about when you're doing something boring?
I think about like other stuff.
But like, do you not think of like ways to amuse yourself when you're bored?
Well, yeah, but I don't create personas to do it.
But that's just like one way of doing it.
I mean, yeah, but it's not a way that I think most people do.
They're missing out.
I mean, no.
What do you mean, no?
I mean, no. Well, can you give me... I mean, I'm not going to understand unless you give me an example, Liam.
No, I think that's too set up.
No, what? No, all right. How is that set up?
No, it feels too forced. You have to just wait.
No, I'm not forced
wait
it. Just
see.
let me talk to old man Liam.
Oh, you right, you young whippersnapper. How's you going?
Can I also speak to young Liam as well?
Hello, mister.
Now can they talk to each other?
Oh, you don't know how lucky you are with all your youth. But you've seen so much of the world. I haven't, now, have I? I've had her indoors chewing me ear off. She won't let me go out and mingle with the ladies. What do you mean, mingle with the ladies? Oh, let me tell you something, boyo. You got some great things to look forward to. Just stuff like that.
I mean, that's weird, mate.
But when you're driving in the car by yourself, like there's no one around to judge.
I sing to myself.
That counts. Do you ever like...
No, sorry. Oh, I didn't make that clear enough. I sing to myself. I don't get old man Jack to sing, because he's not real. He's not a person. I sing.
Not yet. He might be one day.
Well, yeah, eventually. And when I'm old and him, then it'll be fine.
But do you ever like sing in funny voices? I
mean, maybe I'm just more mature than you, but I'm not that into funny voices.
What I like doing, like one of the things I quite like doing when I'm singing, is I like to sing, but like in a really serious voice. So like, you don't really try to sing, but you like almost speak the words in like a very serious manner.
Okay.
Like, I stay out too late. At least that's what people say. Stuff like that.
Yeah, why do you do that?
Because like when you've got all the music going on and stuff, to me it's just funny just having like a real serious delivery of that sort of thing with all the music in the back. Like all the music's all like upbeat and stuff, and you're just like just giving it like very straight.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, shake it off.
Yeah, no.
Shake it off.
I get what you're saying.
What you didn't see though was me miming driving while I'm doing it, which I think would have added to the...
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
There's an interesting future for Nerd on Nerd where we do an episode where we go and see a psychologist and we discover everything that's wrong with ourselves. And I feel like your list might be longer than mine.
No, I think the thing is, you hide your things better.
Yeah, that is true.
I think you're more aware that people actually listen to this, whereas I tune that out because I'm like, why would anyone?
Yeah, got you. Right.
So I forget that we have listeners. So to me, this is just us talking.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then, like, I'll get a tweet that's like, you could have kept your wiping problems quiet. And I'm like...
Yeah, and you're like, could I?
Sorry, what? Who?
Wait, you mean I didn't have to do that?
You mean you were listening? A bit weird. Like, I don't quite go through the thought process of, no, it's weird that you put that on the internet for people to listen to.
Yeah, I see your problem.
Yeah, definitely. But
what would you give Saga, Liam, out of 5?
No, before that, though, I would just be curious if our listeners could just, like, email us or tweet us with, like, anything that they do by themselves in the car that they might
I would like to know specifically if people do that thing you do, not the singing thing, having the like voices. Other characters.
Yeah.
If other people do, then fair enough. Maybe I'm the weird one.
There's some that Kat absolutely can't stand.
Yeah, I assume they're quite horrible.
So if any listeners who are listening could email or tweet us like what they do in the car when they're alone that like they wouldn't do around other people or that they themselves think is maybe not necessarily normal. We can if you want we can kind of like read these out anonymously.
Let us know.
Yeah, we can be trusted.
We can. If someone says I want to be anonymous, we have to keep them anonymous.
Yeah. I would happily keep either Tom or Amanda anonymous. Since they're the only ones that email us.
And Gibbo.
It doesn't email us.
Well, not emails. No, that's true.
Yeah. So, yeah. Saga.
What did you give it out of 5, Liam?
So, by the end of chapter 1, it was a solid 1 out of 5. By the end of chapter 6, that had gone up to 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
So we're not too far off then.
No.
I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next. And you, dear listener, can look forward to listening to future housekeepings where I'll talk about that.
Very good, Liam.
And that's that for that.
What are we doing on the next Culture Swap?
We're going back to when kids' TV was still on TV. Not hidden on its own channel, but like...
Right. I mean, it's still on TV.
You don't get like Saturday morning kids' TV anymore.
You get CBBC.
That's its own channel.
No, you also get it on BBC.
I'm not up early enough to see it then.
No, exactly. It's not that it's changed. It's that we don't see it because we don't watch it anymore.
We're going back to the 90s, a time when neon was in fashion. Pop was very big.
Yep.
Spiky hair, that was all the rage.
I see pictures of people wearing dungarees a lot.
Yeah. And Jack entered this world.
Yep.
Came a darker place.
Yep,
We're
definitely.
watching the first 4 episodes, I think it is.
Yeah, so it's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, we're
because
watching...
That's a bit weird.
Alright, so here's what we're doing. We are watching Goosebumps. So this was first aired in 1995. How old would you have been then?
4.
Sorry, 1996 apparently this was first.
5.
No, it's not clear. 95. You'd have been 4. Fucking hell.
You were only 9.
Yeah, that's an appropriate age to be watching this stuff.
Yeah, I also watched Goosebumps. I probably didn't watch the first 4 episodes.
Yeah. So we're watching... So here's how it goes. Some of the episodes are split in 2. So when it's a 20-minute show, we watch 6 episodes. But because 2 of them are split in 2, it kind of works out as 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So we're doing The Haunted Mask, Part 1 and Part 2. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, The Girl Who Cried Monster, and Welcome to Camp Nightmare, Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, join us next time for a bit of a time warp back to before terrorism was as bad as it is.
Oh, God.
Please keep that with your reaction.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, God. That was brilliant.
You're a fucked up individual, Liam.
What do you mean?
I mean, you just are.
No, but when I think of like the mid-90s, that's what I think of.
Really?
Like things being happier generally, like the world like seemed to be a lot more at peace with itself.
Okay. Well,
do you not think? You wouldn't know, you were 4. You've probably only ever known like global wars and stuff.
You're only 4 years older than me.
So yeah, Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Jack?
No.
Bye.
Bye.